Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you all. Whatever time of the day you find yourself tuning in to this particular video, good day to you. My name is Jerrie'Me Wright, signing on today, May the 6th, 2022. It has been, and it was my desire to actually sign on yesterday and upload a message for May the 5th, 2022. However, I was unable to do so. Nevertheless, I'm gonna do so today. Whereby it's been a minute that I've actually created one of these videos. Believe it or not, believe it or not, it's so interesting when you begin to share your truth and you begin to put that truth out there for the whole world to hear and to know. There are definitely individuals, there are people who do not desire for you to do so. In other words, there are people who want you actually to shut up and be quiet because what is being said is actually a threat to them in some sort of way. Nevertheless, in this particular channel, I actually discussed a lot of things over the past few years. And to be quite honest, I have a whole lot more to share with the whole world. And, I don't mind doing so only because, one, it helps me to get it off my chest. And two, it may help someone else who's dealing with that same thing. Therefore, one of the main issues or one of the main things that I actually discussed over the years has been this whole idea of, me having a stroke in 2017, thereafter having this particular medical care. And just to just to start right out the gate, I would like to say this one thing. In 2018, I was actually attending, a doctor's office in Columbia, South Carolina, known as SCOA. SCOA stands for South Carolina Oncology and Associates. And this particular doctor's office, I've been to, maybe near a decade, over a decade. And I saw this one doctor who actually retired in 2018, at the end of 2018. His name was Dr. Philip Baldwin. And Dr. Philip Baldwin, how you doing, sir? If you happen to watch or hear this particular message, how you doing? Nevertheless, after Dr. Baldwin retirement, I actually was moved on to a lady, a female physician by the name of Dr. Jill Sullivan. Now, Dr. Jill Sullivan came from North Carolina to work in South Carolina for whatever reason. I'm not sure, but she was the individual that took over after Dr. Baldwin retired. And upon her taking over, there were basically some things that he left in order that I should continue. One of those things being these exchange transfusions, whereby I talked about on this channel. The exchange transfusion is basically, when they actually pull blood from your body and then put, new blood within your body. And when this particular procedure has been done over the years, it varies in the amount of blood that they gave you. After the stroke, I actually had, I believe, 10 pints of blood taken from my body and then replaced with 10 more pints of blood. And that's basically was the goal, was to remove the sickle cells out of my body and to replace them with whole, healthy, new red blood cells. And just to key in, this procedure actually, it helped, it kept the crisis down that I would have or whatnot. Yet and still, under Dr. Jill Sullivan, um, I actually read where she would note whereby I would not be compliant to these transfusions. And I was like, that's inaccurate. That's not true. Only because, when I get these transfusions, I know my particular body. And, if I feel as though, I'm okay, it's no need to actually, get this transfusion. That was my whole position. Like, you're actually, uh, you're actually just doing it just to do it. In my book, that was not a good thing. Therefore, when my body felt fine, I was okay, I did not get these particular transfusions, and I let it be known. But, she defined that as not being compliant, whereby I was looking at it as one, I feel fine in my body. Two, someone else who is in dire need could use that blood. So it's basically wise, to save it for someone who actually really need that blood. So I actually stayed at South Carolina Oncology and Associates for after his retirement in 2018. I went through 2019. I went through 2020. Um, Almost went through 2020 during the pandemic. Um, so we get to October of 2020, and all of a sudden, I get this call from Prisma Health, which they call the Sickle Cell Medical Home. And I get this call saying I have this appointment at this particular office, whereby I don't know anything about it. One, my doctor, Dr. Jill Sullivan, never actually shared with me that I would be moving from SCOA to this new office. So I get this call from the receptionist telling me about this appointment I have in October of 2020. So me being me, I'm like, okay, whatever, definitely I'll come and, have this particular appointment or whatnot. In which I did. I actually went, had the appointment or whatnot. And, from that moment, there was a great uh, miscommunication and discord between the old office, SCOA, and the new office, Sickle Cell Medical Home at Prisma. One doctor is telling me one thing, and the other doctor is telling me another thing. One, Dr. Jill Sullivan, is letting me know that, this new doctor, Dr. Damian Daniels, will take over my care. And being that he would take over my care, he would be the one that actually schedule these transfusions. And Dr. Damian Daniels is telling me the same thing, vice versa. He's telling me that, they're a sickle cell medical home, and that, he's there, basically to oversee the sickle cell part of, my medical care. Cool. However, he stated that Dr. Jill Sullivan was to be the one who would actually continue with the exchange transfusions. So she will be the one that will continue to write those orders and get those labs and, determine what it is, how many pints of blood I would need, that sort of thing. Um, so I have her telling me that he's going to do it, and he telling me that she's going to do it. So I'm like, okay, look at this. I was like, okay, look at this. So I'm in this particular dilemma, whatnot, and for the most part, I'm patient for the most part. Yet and still, it comes a time where that patience can definitely wear thin. So she's telling me this, he's telling me that, and I'm like, okay, hey, like, for one, Dr. Jill Sullivan, basically sent me over to this particular place without first discussing it with me. So for me, that was very unprofessional. And for two, what good doctor will actually, forfeit the care of their patient, without even, talking with them about, what's going to happen. So at that moment, I realized that what, I discerned in the beginning when she came, that, that level of care wasn't genuine, and that level of care wasn't something that, that she was willing to, take care of, like Dr. Baldwin. For, as I stated on another video, that particular doctor, Dr. Baldwin, was someone who actually, you know, for the most part, listened to, my concerns or whatnot, and took care of me to the best of his ability, until the last day. But, here, the sickle cell medical home, just recently, I was supposed to, in fact, today I was supposed to actually have this particular MRI of my right hip. And lo and behold, 30 minutes before, I get this call from the MRI department, and they're telling me, hey, your insurance is not authorizing this particular imaging. Now, the lady that called me, one, I actually knew that was not true, because I had already taken care of that, whereby, they were going to take care of this particular MRI. So, I didn't go into any details with her. I just said, oh, okay. But on the other hand, I did on yesterday tell my doctor, Dr. Damian Daniels at the Sickle Cell Medical Home, um, that, I would like to move my care back to SCOA, South Carolina Oncology and Associates. I would no longer like to be at the Sickle Cell Medical Home, but I would like to actually go back to South Carolina Oncology and Associates. And, I actually made that comment, not in disrespect or saying that they do not provide great care for their patients, but largely because, one, sickle cell is a blood inherited disorder. So if it's a blood disorder, I ought to be getting labs, whereby, they're checking my levels, they're checking the hemoglobin A, hemoglobin S levels, whereby all of this was being done at SCOA. However, I get to the sickle cell medical home and I'm not getting any labs. Therefore, I actually stated to the nurse that, like right now, like for me personally, I'm not in a good space whereby I feel as though, as doctors, you're neglecting your care of your patients, because your patient is telling you, hey, I'm feeling this way in my body, and, there ought to be some type of action. And I don't know if I'm just thinking too much, but I'm wondering, me asking for that referral back over to SCOA actually caused him or his office to cancel my appointment on today for the MRI. I don't have any answers as of yet, but this is basically something that, I deal with, and this is something that, it wouldn't surprise me if that is the case, whereby, you have this patient saying, hey, I no longer want to be a patient, but I would like to actually go back to where I came from. And, upon saying that, I actually get my appointment for my MRIs canceled, whatnot, and actually have this lady call me to say that my insurance is not going to pay for this particular MRI. Now, I know that to be untrue. I know that to be untrue because, as I stated, I already had that situated, and they were going to take care of the MRI. But she's actually given me a number to reschedule and all of this, and I told her, I have the number or whatnot, but we'll go from there. But the moral of the story is that, you know, for myself, um, I actually admitted, like, I haven't been feeling well in my body. So if I'm not feeling well in my body and I go to the doctor, I'm actually letting the doctor know I did not feel well in my body. This is what's going on, and the doctor have no type of concern about what's going on. It just lets me know that, the care is actually not there. And doesn't matter, what you say or what you think about me. At the end of the day, it's my sole responsibility as a doctor to take care of my patients, no matter, how I may feel about them personally. You don't have to like me. I feel as though even Dr. Jill Sullivan, she don't have to like me. Just, do the job that you have, and, take care of your patient. However, this particular story, as I actually mentioned before, it has a whole lot that is within it, but I'm not going to get into all of that. I just want to encourage each and every one of you who actually is feeling some type of way in their bodies, that we cannot depend on man, we cannot depend on woman. We definitely have to lean and depend on the Lord, in which that's what the word of God lets us know. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. Leaning on the Lord, when you say trust in the Lord with all your heart, that word trust is basically to lean. It's like a crutch. So if I'm trusting in the Lord, I'm actually trusting him that I can lean my weight on him and use that trust as a crutch. So trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. Therefore, no matter what I understand, I know at the end of the day, I must trust in the Lord with all my heart and lean not to what I can actually understand. You all take care and continue to be blessed. Amen.